I like Skeletor. I like Merman. And Man-at-Arms, of course, is just my own voice. That's all. Just maybe a little more pompous, if that's possible.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are joined by the hero of Etheria and the scourge of Eternia. So without further ado, let's invoke the magic of Grayskull, Filmation, and the Mattel Toy Corporation and bring them out. Our first guest is an actress whose body of work includes The New Adventures of Batman, The Plastic Man Adventure Show, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Today, she joins us to discuss giving voice to the following Etherian characters: Ariel, Castaspella, Dina, Fuzbala the Muckus, Good Witch, Hunga, Kristalla's mother, Magic Cat, Queen Mara, Mermacida, Octavia, Chakra, Squall, Katra, and of course, Princess Audra, better known as the Princess of Power herself, She-Ra. Please welcome back Melendy Britt.
Hi.
Oh,
what a start.
I know, and that's just, yeah, you know, it's just you did a lot more on the show than just that. You know?
There were a lot of little ones I don't even remember, you know.
Yeah, well, I think the rule at that time was they could get you to do 3 characters an episode, or
and it was fun because a lot of the smaller ones were just a few lines, so it was fun to just try to find some voice to do it on the spur, which was really fun. And of course, She-Ra and Adoro are my favorites.
Of course, how could they not be? And of course, many people in our audience as well. So, first of all, Melendy, it's good to see you again. How has the new year been treating you?
It's Melendy.
Melendy, I'm sorry, Melendy.
It's okay.
All right, back it up. Melendy, how has the new year been treating you?
Huh?
How has the new year been treating you?
Well, like everyone else, I'm still kind of stuck in last year because I can't seem to shake it off. Not just me, nobody can shake it off because of COVID. And I think I was telling Neri earlier that I did not sleep last night because I don't get a chance to talk with a lot of people. And I was so excited to be able to talk to people today that I know and love that I could not sleep. So I don't know how my brain is functioning, but I guess it'll function well when we talk about the characters, because that's something that I don't have to think too much about, I hope, anyway. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. It's just I miss being around people so much.
We absolutely miss you as well. And I'm sorry you didn't get any sleep, but it'll help. Let's bring out a guest that we never tire of. He is an actor with an amazing body of work, which includes The Smurfs, Black Star, and The Never-Ending Story. Today, he joins us to discuss giving voice to the following Eternian characters: Dragoon, Agra, Enda, Agavest, Agavog Og, Avian Man, Zog, Baron Grog, Batty, Bearman, Beta, Boomerang Salesman, Brindle, Buzzoff, Captain Hulk, Cat Spy, Chancellor, Chimera, Danavarez, Dark Dream, Dr. Shivan, Draka, Druid, Galen, Game Master, Gatekeeper, Gorgon, Grandfather, Helmsman, Hexor, Hister, Javon, King Thomas, Core, Crawl, Locust, Mock, Mask, Methega, Mitro, Montag, Morgoth, Morningstar, Negotiate, Old Man, Paul, Professor Araya, Radbar, Roboto, Salesman, Shama, Sleeping Tree Smudge, Squire, Wilkins, Storyteller, Tauron, Talk, Torin, Vulcan, Yoker, Xanther, Merman, Man-at-Arms, Mossman, Cringer, Battlecat, and the evil Lord of Destruction himself, Skeletor. Please welcome back our friend, Alan Oppenheimer.
I'm exhausted listening to all of that. I have to reply to Melendy, who was so nervous last night, reply to you because you said you were a bit nervous because you hadn't talked to anybody. Now, I'm so bad, I'm lonely, I'm talking back to telemarketers.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm just so lonely, honey.
Oh,
I'll
no,
talk to anybody.
I understand. Yeah.
Have you been talking back to them in character voices?
No, I don't try that because then they'll keep going. No. I've insulted a few, and therefore I'm now subject to hacking. You know, nasty people.
Oh, anyway. Speaking of telemarketers,
whose phone? Is it a telemarketer, Alan?
My phone, yeah, it's my barber. I don't know why.
Oh, Alan, how are you? How's the new year been treating you?
Very well. Very well. Thank you. Everything's just fine. Thanks.
Oh, it's always good to have you. Always good to have you back. And as always, it's good to have both of you back here on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Of course, we're both looking back to the day when the world gets a little bit back to normal and we can once again have you on our stages and get you back in front of your fans. But in the meantime, we have this format.
I really miss hugging a lot of people, you know?
Yeah, you're right, Alan. It's the hugs.
I really did. I really did. I really love the one-on-one. I really do.
Yeah.
So this is 1 on 1,000, I guess.
There you go.
If our arms were wide enough, we could do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we give everybody a big virtual hug right now.
Big hug. Big.
How's that?
Fair. So our team right now is going in our chat room and pulling out the questions for us. In the meantime, I just want to throw this out. What has just been the best thing to come from being involved with the Masters of the Universe?
What we're doing now. I mean, this is 30 years after we did it. And, you know, I did the show, went home, got paid, and that's it. Okay. And Melendy, you know this. So 30 years later, we're doing this and meeting not only the people who watched us when they were 6 and 7 years old, but now their children are watching it on DVD. I mean, it's really so unexpected, and I'm so grateful for it that I keep going and talking to people about, oh, gee, it's been wonderful. It is wonderful.
Yeah, I agree, Alan. And
Yeah.
you know, we used to get the fan mail when the show was on, but we still get fan mail from people who tell us, like, if they were watching the show during the time they were growing up, now their children are watching it. I just got a letter the other day, an email the other day from a girl who told me that her daughter is speech delayed. So she sent me a picture of her from behind, and she's standing in front of the television at the She-Ra transformation thing, saying, "I am She-Ra," which, I mean, of course, you know, all those stories just warm your heart because it's helping her talk. And all it's just wonderful things that the series did for people and us.
That's right.
Warmed our hearts a lot.
Saved a lot of people's lives too because of the moral at the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't find that out until the first show I did for Broda in Miami. That was my first show, and 2 people came up to me and told me how they'd been saved from committing suicide. Is, you know, 6 or 7 years old. My God.
I know. It's just, it's an amazing, we were so blessed to be a part of this thing. I mean, just like you, I had no idea this would come from it at all. All I know is I love doing it and love being with you guys too.
And I love Lou Scheimer.
Oh golly, yes.
I would have loved to have met him and thanked him for just his body of work, his contributions, so many fabulous projects. Batman series that you did the voice of Catwoman on, and Flash Gordon, we talked about last time we had us all here. Tarzan the Super 7. I mean, I could go on. The Filmation library is one of my all-time favorites, and that's my childhood in a nutshell on the Saturday morning aspects.
And I think about Lou so often and think about how he must have really been happy that his dreams came true as well, you know?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You know, and I'm so happy for him too.
Did I tell you that I found out many years later that he and I were at Carnegie Tech at the same time? He was on the 2nd floor, me on the 1st floor.
Oh golly, how funny.
He was a painting and design major, and I was a dramat, you know, an acting major.
You know what I was thinking about, Alan? I was thinking that because I love that show. I'm not answering. It's a marketing call. Oh no, it's from somebody else. But oh dear, I'm just gonna have to turn it off. She'll start talking. I just have to turn it off.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. But what was I saying? What was I saying?
What were you saying?
I forget now.
Alan, you were about to tell us. Tell us about how you and Lou actually dated the same girl, and you found out later.
Yeah. After he was wearing a ring, and I said, "Where's that from?" He said, "Oh, Carnegie Tech." I said, "Really?" Yeah, you know, I was there too. He was, as I say, he was on the second floor painting and design, and I was on the first floor. And not only that, but we found out we dated the same girl at different times.
What now I remember what I was going to say is that I love that show where everybody gets to talk about their ancestry, you know?
Yes,
And I
Ancestry.com.
was thinking, wouldn't it be strange if somehow some of the cast of the members of Masters of the Universe and She-Ra and in Lou, all of that, wouldn't it be funny if somehow we were all connected, you know?
I hope Mr. Gates is listening to you.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a good idea.
I would love
Yeah.
to find out. I mean, there was such camaraderie that I just think there has to be something somewhere back, you know, that connects.
Well, I think Skeletor is related to Jim Garner, actually.
You are?
That's what we're going to find out.
You know, I fall for everything you say. So
I know you've always done that. You're shameless, or I'm shameful. One of the two, which.
So let me throw one question I've always wondered about Lou, because he did a lot of computer voices and stuff like that in the various shows. Did he really sound like that, or was that an affectation he sort of created? He had that, you know, and next episode he had that.
It wasn't like that.
Okay,
No.
all right.
Oh, Lou didn't talk like that. Did he do that? And
Yeah,
next episode,
He had sort of he had a very distinctive voice when he was doing voices on his shows. I was just always curious if that was a character choice that he made, or if that he just sounded like that all the time.
Yeah.
No, he didn't say.
He didn't sound like that. Like
Okay.
he did Swift Wind and all of that. He didn't sound like that.
No, he had a Pittsburgh accent. No.
Fair. So, did you ever wish that your characters could have crossed over a little more than you did?
You broke up. So say it again.
Do you ever wish that She-Ra and Skeletor could have crossed over a little bit more than the few times that the characters did? Because there were a few times.
I never.
Yeah,
well,
we did. Christmas.
I thought everything was just fine the way it was.
Yeah, she was the big cheese on her show, and we did.
Yeah, you know.
This is as close as we've ever gotten right now.
Well, there was that one episode where Skeletor did pull on in. As a matter of fact, we have a clip from it if you want to watch that.
Sure. That's all right.
Oh, we have a clip. We have a clip from an episode where Skeletor did appear and cross swords with She-Ra.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've never had to turn into She-Ra with Alan. He's always been a good person to me, and he's not a bone brain.
Wow. The whole mistake was we gave you the vote. That was the whole problem.
You're dating yourself, Alan.
I know. I always say that. It makes her laugh.
You know what, Alan? Just for that, we're gonna show the other clip, which actually shows She-Ra putting Skeletor in his place. Let's roll the second half of that episode.
Where?
I don't know. Janelle, second clip. Here we go.
There we go.
Like Skeletor and your politics, you're all wet.
That's right. I drowned in my own politics.
Bone brain.
Well, once again, Melendy and Alan, thank you so much for these performances. Really, they resonate so much, and they've gone beyond just entertainment. Again, they've been learning tools. They have been so sentimental and such a part of my generation, and that's a credit to you as actors and all the fine people you worked with in the cast, and again the people behind the scenes as well. And thank you for your talents, thank you for your performances, and thank you for your professionalism.
Oh, thank you.
Very nicely. Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome.
Alan definitely agrees with me. It was our pleasure, believe me.
What did you say, dear? Say
I
again.
said it was our pleasure.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. It's a joy.
So I think producer let us know we're good on audience questions. So let's go ahead and switch over to that one. And our first one is going to come from Andre. Out of all the awesome cartoon voices you have both done, do you have any personal favorites?
Go ahead, Melendy.
Well, for me, of course, it's She-Ra. It really is. Interestingly enough to me, I got the role of She-Ra and was in a very difficult part of my life. And the things that she had to say, the courage that she had to bring up, and the strength really helped me too. And it kept me from being weak. And I liked that a lot. So she helped me as much as the role helped other people. And I loved Adora because she was so sweet. And Catra was fun. She was really fun. I know she was annoying, but she was really fun to do. So I loved those three.
Awesome.
I liked Gran in Avatar too, by the way. I liked her a lot. She wasn't in only for I think 2 shows, but I really liked the character. I wish she had gone on more.
We just hosted that cast last week, and what a great talented bunch they are.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. I would like to have gone on to more, but they didn't need me. It was just kind of an introduction to them, which was nice.
Fair. So, how about you, Alan?
Well, of course, Skeletor is a major part of my animated life. And also, if I can touch on the Never-Ending Story.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, Falcor and Rockbiter. I love the Rockbiter. And that was an accident. I was going out the door. I was only hired for Falcor. And then he asked me if I could do the Rockbiter. So I love doing it. And every time I listen to it or I copy it for some people, I love it more and more, the Rockbiter. I like Skeletor. I like Merman. And Man-at-Arms, of course, is just my own voice. That's all. Just maybe a little more pompous, if that's possible. I said it before you did, Melendy. You see that?
Oh, no, I would never say that. I had no reason to say that.
And
all I
Skuz.
was wonderful love.
Was that Skuz or yeah, well, I know I had one character, and I don't remember which. It was a Filmation show, and I'm never sure which one it was, but it was Skuz, Sheriff Skuz, or something like that. So I was merely copying the man I admired, and I'd worked with a lot, George C. Scott.
Nice. Might have been from Brave Star.
I'll bet you it is. You know more about it than I do, I'll tell you that.
Oh, that note's from your agent, so.
Oh, good. Okay.
He should know more.
He does.
Speaking of agent, my agent at the time, his favorite character that I did was Aura. And he always would ask me when I would come into the office to say this line, "On your knees, Hawkman."
It's tough to beat that one, kiddo. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's what he always asked me to say.
I've got a few more, so we got to keep booking you because I've got Catwoman from Filmation. I'm working my way up to the Princess of Power.
Right.
Did TJ ask you to do that?
That was TJ.
Yeah. Oh man,
I
I can't wait to hold that one over.
I know.
Okay.
Andre, thank you. That was a great question to start us off with. What do we have next? And this comes from Christy. What was your most memorable moment in the recording booth?
I think there are many of them, but the best time was working with John Irwin and Melendy and the ad libs and the improvs that we did. Those not only broke us up, but it made Lou Scheimer say, "Okay, let's leave that in." So that was very creative. The back and forth.
I don't think I did too many improvs, but you guys were incredible, really incredible.
I speak to John now maybe every couple of weeks, and he is one funny guy. Oh my God. And totally irreverent, which I love him for.
And you know what? He doesn't do that with me too much. He really doesn't. He's very kind and sweet and loving and all of that stuff. And we laugh about a few things, but I think he saves his really, really funny side for you guys.
Well, it's man to man. We
That's
can
right.
say
That's
anything, you know,
Yeah, that's
and we
true.
do.
But the
I-
ability to go ahead, please. No,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to say to Alan, I just talked with him. I guess it was either last week or the week before, and he said, "Well, when this thing is over, we'll have lunch." So that will be really a lot of fun.
God
Yeah.
willing, we'll all go out and get lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
You bet. You bet.
I am dying for some restaurant food.
So I'm a little surprised because being able to improv is usually not an option in animation, but you guys were allowed to roll?
Well,
Sorry for me to interrupt, but those guys were
just,
geniuses.
yeah, we were just loose, you know, we'd throw in stuff. That's how my laugh came about. It wasn't in the script originally. No.
Yeah.
This first episode was very serious, and I don't know why I put in. Lou said, keep that in, and they wrote it, you know, they wrote for it. Yeah.
How many of Skeletor's insults were scripted and how many were yours?
Well, most of them were scripted. Lou said to me at one point, feel free, let's just roll and throw a few insults out there we can use. So I made up about 10 or 15, and they all wound up on the cutting room floor. He couldn't use any of them. They were not airable.
I wonder.
But they were good.
I wonder if there's a vault somewhere and those are around.
Oh, wouldn't that? Oh, I wonder if there is.
Oh, I'll bet there is.
Oh my
somewhere.
gosh! Never even thought of that.
Mm.
That would be incredible to listen
Put that
to.
together with Melendy. That's right.
Whoever owns the Filmation archives, get to work on that.
Well, I
Oh,
wonder.
Erica, maybe she's got it.
Yeah, maybe Erica would know. That would be
I bet you
wonderful.
Erica has them.
Oh golly, would I love to go to that party?
We all would, young lady. We all would. Christy, thank you. It was a wonderful question. Oh, what's next? And this comes from Kim. If you could hang out with a character you portrayed, who would it be, and what would you like to do with them?
What a strong question. Wow. Melendy, you got any ideas?
It's an easy one for me. Of course, it would be She-Ra, because I could right all the wrongs in the world. I could save the town. I could bring horses back to life. I could do all these magical things.
Hang out with a character, who would it be, and what would you like to do? Sure, I wouldn't mind hanging out with Skeletor. Sure. I wouldn't mind hanging out. We could do whatever we wanted, you know.
I get you. You'd have to watch for me.
No, we'd last forever, you know. Oh, actually, maybe Falcor, and I could fly
That's what I
all
was
over.
Yeah.
And I could be oh, and universally admired.
And loved, and just everybody would want to just be near you and hug you a lot.
Yeah.
God, nice. Kim, thank you. Wonderful question. What do we have next? And here's one from Matt. In what ways do you personally relate to your character?
I'm mean. I'm very mean. I'm very mean.
Oh,
And I relate to Merman because I hate swimming. Oh, I won't do it. So that's it. You're up, Melendy.
Fair.
well, I think I might have touched on that when I talked about how She-Ra touched my life too, as well as the listeners to the program and the watchers of the program. I don't consider myself a superhero at all, but I would love to be one. I would love to try to do all of. I love to accept and accomplish what needs to be done in a challenge.
Yeah.
I really feel good when there's an obstacle or a challenge and I'm able to overcome it or something like that. Not that I want any more, but but I do. That makes me feel quite good. And so, relating to Shira, I would like to have that part of me, but I try to be like that.
Fair. Absolutely fair. It's a very left one. Matt, thank you. Wonderful question. What do we have next? From Pat, any favorite bloopers come to mind? If not from...
Is that Pat Fife?
I don't know. I just have Pat on here. Could be.
Yeah, because he and I have been corresponding for a year or so. Favorite bloopers? Well, I don't really know. We never considered bloopers in the voiceover field in animation.
Yeah.
There were never bloopers. You just did it was just a retake on it.
Yeah. We got most of the laughs out at the table when we read it, you know?
Yeah.
When we go around and read the thing.
Oh, I've had bloopers on screen, but not in animation, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when I was doing Mama's Family with Betty White, and I played Mayor Tutwiler. And so Betty came in as a character and said, "Oh, Mayor Titwillow." Oh, excuse me. She did it 3 more times, and I finally figured out she wanted some stuff for her Christmas reel.
Oh. Okay, fair enough. So, Melody, anything else that might be blooper-esque from any facet of your career?
Well, I believe they were just foul, and I hope they were burnt.
No.
I'm a terrible person.
When I was 12 years old, I was doing live television. I was, and I think I told this story before, I'm not sure, but I was on a show in Houston, and it was called Looney Auction. And I was the girl who was chosen to tell about the prizes. And the way we did it back then on live television, they would line up these prizes for the kids, and I'd have a little note card, 3x5 note card behind them. And it was a very quick study. So I could look at those and then look to camera and say them. And there was a lady in charge. Her name was Miss Sherwood. And she was supposed to have all those things set out in front of me so that I could talk when they say, "Okay, and back to you." And I remember, I knew that he was, Uncle Bert was the guy's name. He was about ready to come over to me, and there was nothing there. And I was going, and I was only, how was I, 13? 12 or 13, maybe 12 or 13. And I was going, "Miss Sherwood. Miss Sherwood? Damn it, Miss Sherwood." And the camera was on me. And they got a lot of calls. I thought my career was over completely, but fortunately it didn't seem to do that. And I guess people forgave me and thought Miss Sherwood should have been on her game.
That's funny. I had a similar experience about the same age. Yeah, I was going to Stuyvesant High School, and Junior Achievement put together a group, and we had a weekly radio show in WINS New York, and I was the announcer. So at the end of the show, I had the script in my hand. I said, "And tune in next week when our guest will be," and all the pages went to the floor. And I said, "But that's next week, and what a surprise. Be sure and tune in."
That was good, though. That was a good cover. Very good.
Bad, huh?
I am putting that in my back pocket for for next time I call Melendy Melody. Melendy. I was reading all the other characters fast. I was switching screens. I apologize. And this comes from Michael. Did you have any mentors who helped you out in your career?
Yes, I did.
Go for it.
I did, and there's 3 in particular. I worked 10 years for Zelda Fitchandler at the Arena Stage. And I got there because Lester Rawlins, who I went to college with and was a stage actor principally, he helped me in the beginning. And an actor named Mickey Deems, when I went into musical summer stock, and I knew nothing about it. I always said, yes, I can do that. And I got up there, I knew what I was doing. And Mickey taught me how to improvise. We had to. There was a costume change, and they didn't have enough time. So we were doing Song of Norway with Ira Patina, who'd done it on Broadway. And so we had to create something for a couple of minutes to cover a costume change. So Mickey said, okay, look, we'll each have a flask of akavit, and we'll toast and get drunk. I said, well, I don't know what to do. He said, just follow me. Well, at the end of 6 performances, they were up there at the top waiting to come on for 6 or 7 minutes. That had grown from 30 seconds to 6 or 7 minutes. He taught me how to improvise, and I loved it. So there it is, Zelda, Lester, and Mickey. There are many others, but those 3 stand out in my mind.
For me, the person who really was my mentor was my high school drama teacher, and her name was Ruth Denny. She was a wonderful woman, and she helped many students who went on to have some very successful careers. Tommy Toon on Broadway, and Carlin Glenn, and Jacqueline Smith. And she was just a marvel, and she really cared about me, and she cared about my talent. And we were friends until she passed away about, I guess it was about 7 years ago. And then there was, I was working in Las Vegas in a musical review, and a man named Hal Gefsky, who was an agent here in Los Angeles. He saw me and told me that Ray Stark had come into the show and saw me and told him to get in touch with me. And Hal said, but you better if you want to have a career other than this, you better get to Los Angeles because you're already old. I was 24. And so I came to Los Angeles on his recommendation, and he was my agent for quite a while. Then the business started changing, but he was a mentor. He was great. Golly, and at that time, he took me around to all the casting directors, and I met everybody, and Hoyt Bowers and all these people at the studios. And I got to go in, and he took me around on the sets, and I met Gene Kelly and all of these. It was wonderful. And then another person who was so instrumental in my voiceover career is T.J. Scott. And he's a friend to this day. And so it was Ruth Denny, Hal Gefsky, and T.J. Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing these recollections. These people sound like very extraordinary folks.
They are.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And Michael, thank you. Wonderful question. What do we have next? From Lana, if you could voice a character on another show, who would it be?
I don't have an answer for that.
I don't either. I don't know that there are any shows right now that I don't know.
I'd love to see you both play characters on Rick and Morty, just because 1, it is a very smart and amusing show, and 2, the creative team behind that is very much of my generation and very reverential towards your era of animation. So I think
what is it called?
It's called Rick and Morty.
Okay, I'll try to look at that. Yeah,
It's pretty caustic. Fair warning on that, but it is legitimately quite hysterical, and it's a very, very smartly written.
Okay.
So, yeah, but don't show it to anybody under 12.
Oh, okay. See, I like shows.
It's not. It occasionally has 4-letter words, but
Oh well, okay.
Well, I turn
Like
those down.
love.
Yes.
I turn those shows down.
All right. Well, there you go. There you go. So, but Lana, there you go. Good question, nevertheless. What is next? From Andre, if you could create your own Masters of the Universe character, what would their name be, and what would their powers be?
Wow. Hmm.
Oh my God.
Andre, that's a heavy question. I'd have to think about that one.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that right off the bat. Boy,
Yeah.
that's a very interesting, creative. Wow. Tough.
Very, very much so.
I've never thought of that. Hmm.
No.
Voice star and lovely.
Wow.
What?
Can I give me a week to think about that? I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Andre, I don't know about that. I'd have to think.
Well, it is this way, because names, of course, have their own style in Masters of the Universe. What do you think your powers would be? How's that?
What?
If you could just pick your own superpowers, what do you think you would have them?
I have all the She-Ra ones. They ain't
Yeah.
no much better than She-Ra.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd always be right.
Oh, okay.
As bad as I was, I'd always be. I love villains, by the way. I love to play villain because I was always right. You know, they get my comeuppance, but I was always right.
Good villains always.
By the way, that's not a bad name for a character. Always right.
There you go. There you go. See, we're workshopping it. There you go.
Ever right.
Ever right is a good one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Everett Right.
That's the name of a fencer, isn't it?
Everett Right.
Andre, thank you. That was a fun one. What do we have next?
That's fun, Andre. That was a really good question. I'd have to think about that.
Right.
I'd have to be a writer.
That's right.
So here's one from Bree. She wants to know, what was the recording process when you started compared to now? And there's definitely a big difference.
Yeah.
After you, Melendy.
Okay. Well, when I started, we would go into the agent's office. You mean for voiceover, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We would go into the agent's office, and there was these huge 2 big reels. What's it called? Is that a reel to reel? What is it?
Reel.
Reel to reel. And we would go in and audition. He would send the auditions off to the producer, and then generally we would find out whether we got the job or not. Then when we would go in to record, now I think Filmation might have been different. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was. But I think what we did at Filmation was more like a movie or a 3-camera thing, because we would go in, say around, I guess 10, yeah, and we would have our scripts. Usually I think about 2, Alan, whether around 2 scripts, yeah. And we would have 2 scripts. We would record 2 in a day, maybe. We would go over the script and mark what we needed to do, and as you would in a movie or a TV show. And then we'd go into the studio and record. At that time, they had not done all the animation, as far as I know, that they did the animation after.
Don't they still do that?
I don't know.
Or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, no, well, I don't know. Maybe they do. Anyway,
usually you record first, then animate later.
Yeah, and then we would go into the studio and record, and then that was it. But what I think was unusual with it was that we got to spend that time rehearsing the whole script before. I don't remember completely whether we did that. Now I forgot one thing. Alan, I did one show with Alan on Transformers. He was playing Sea Spray, and I played Alana. And I don't remember if we did the same thing there. Do you remember?
Why is the difference today? Well, then it was a group session.
Right.
It was a group session, so you bounced off of each other.
That's
yeah. And my experience now, which is much more limited because I'm really not doing very much of this anymore.
Right, me too.
But bring you in and record your stuff, and then the other person comes in. Or if it's a 2-person thing, maybe. But you're not all together like we used to be.
Yeah.
And I think something is lacking when that doesn't happen.
And when you're all together, you're really moving quickly. You really are. Yeah.
There has been a bit of a swing now to they're really trying to bring that back, and they're really trying to bring troop style recording back, but it's just the scheduling issues and stuff. And now, of course, everybody's recording from home,
Yes,
And
that's
sometimes they're
right.
doing it like we are doing now. They are recording as a group and they're doing their own device, but they're able to bounce off each other. So they get a little bit of that energy. But yeah, that spark you would have had being in the same room. And
Oh,
yeah.
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 But if I can just interject this, while we were doing this show at about 1985 or 86, I was also working in London doing a movie. So I'd do 2 or 3 days in London, then fly back and work at Hanna-Barbera and Filmation. Now, John Irwin and so forth have recorded without me there. So when I came in to do it, I'd ask Lou, play me a couple of lines ahead. So I'm answering at least in the same tone and making sense. So that's all right, but it's also tedious and not nearly as much creative as being in the same room with the person.
Yeah. And it's interesting that it took longer, but due to the technology, I think plenty of times you must have said, okay, hold on a second. Okay, do it again, take 2, you know. You don't have to do that anymore.
No, no.
No, indeed. And Bree, thank you. It was a wonderful question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with the Masters of the Universe. Alan, Melendy, have any final words for our audience before we go?
Thank you. And
thank you. You bet. You bet. All these years, thank you. And you filled my life at this point in time. I really enjoy it. Thank you.
Me too, everyone. And I hope to get to see you when this whole COVID thing is over.
Yep.
Till then, I know I speak for Alan when I say we love you and are very grateful for your loyalty.
Absolutely. Thank you.
As always, it's been my absolute pleasure to serve you both today.
Thank
you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You're always very, very welcome. Again, I myself look forward to hosting you live on a stage, hopefully sometime this year. In the meantime, I've enjoyed our time at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you to our audience for joining us. And thank you for those great questions. Hope to see you all again next time when we have another offering just like this. In the meantime, bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.